He gave her life, and she gave his love to someone else. Marcus donated his kidney to save the woman he loved. 6 months later, on their wedding day, she walked past him at the altar, straight into his brother's arms. This is a story about sacrifice, betrayal, and learning how to heal when the person you saved breaks your heart. The call came just after dawn. Marcus's phone buzzed against the nightstand, slicing through the silence. He fumbled for it, half awake, until the nurse's voice spilled through the speaker. "You're a match." For a moment the words didn't sink in. Then they did, heavy, electric, life-altering. He sat up, heart pounding, staring into the pale morning light spilling through his blinds. Emma would live. Hours later, the hospital smelled of antiseptic and hope. Nurses moved briskly, voices low, machines humming in steady rhythm. Marcus lay on the gurney, a paper band around his wrist, while a doctor reviewed the final forms. "It's risky," she reminded him gently. "You'll be fine, but it's major surgery." He nodded, barely hearing her. His gaze drifted to the photo on his phone. Emma, all freckles and sunlight, laughing at that coffee shop 2 years ago. She'd spilled her latte, and he'd made a joke about destiny wasting no time. That was the day it began. The day her laugh became the sound he wanted every morning. Then came the diagnosis: kidney failure. He still remembered the sterile room, the doctor's voice saying dialysis and limited options. Emma had tried to be strong, but her eyes betrayed her fear. That night he promised he'd find a way. "Marcus, you don't have to do this," Derek had said when the test results came back. His older brother's tone carried more worry than judgment. "There are other donors. What if something goes wrong?" Marcus had only smiled. "Then at least I'll know I tried." Now, lying under the harsh surgical lights, that conviction pulsed stronger than the 4 in his arm. Across the hall, Emma was being prepped too. He pictured her fragile body, the way her smile had faded these past months, and he whispered to himself, "It's worth it." The anesthesia crept in, soft, cold, final. His last thought before the blur swallowed him was her face. When he woke, the world was a fog of pain and beeping monitors. His throat ached, his side burned, but he turned his head toward the next room. Through the glass, Emma's heart monitor blinked, steady, alive. Marcus smiled weakly. "I'd give you anything," he murmured, the words barely audible over the hum of machines. And he already had. Marcus wakes to the flat beep of the monitor. 6 in the morning, and the sun already burns through the blinds. He sits up, gingerly, the incision on his side a throb he can't ignore. "Just don't mention it," he tells himself as he pulls on his robe. The fatigue lingers like a shadow he doesn't want Emma to see. Downstairs in their apartment, sunlight spills across the kitchen. Emma glides in radiant. Her cheeks have color again. She pours coffee, then thanks Marcus with a smile so full it makes him catch his breath. She says, "I feel like myself," and he tries not to wince as a twinge shoots through his back. He nods, takes a sip, swallows the pain. 3 months out of surgery, Marcus has a list he doesn't keep. Limit sodium, stay hydrated, no heavy lifting, avoid stress. Every ache, every wave of fatigue he hides. He breathes shallow when the pain flares, and he forces himself to smile when Derek enters the door. Derek's presence, so casual, so natural, shifts the light in the room. He jokes with Emma, asks about her meds, checks her post-op wound with attentive fingers. He laughs with her and she laughs back, genuine and loud. Marcus watches, coffee growing cold in his hand. They meet in the living room when Derek arrives. Emma runs to him and Marcus freezes for a moment. The sound of her greeting, "Derek," rings sharper than he expects. His eyes capture their small exchange. Derek reaches for her jacket. She flicks off the zipper and they banter. He doesn't move, doesn't say anything. He simply watches. When Derek leaves taking Emma's hand, he pauses at the door. "See you tomorrow," Derek says, and Emma squeezes his shoulder. Marcus wants to ask if she means you or him, but he swallows the question. He says instead, "Want to go out tonight?" She glances at him, bright smile still there. "That sounds great." But he sees the hesitation in her eyes, brief, subtle. Later, as they sit across from each other in a small bistro downtown, Emma talks about her new plans. Hiking, cooking again, going on a vacation. Marcus listens, drinks his water. He notices the way her eyes flick to his side, almost pitying, and he forces a joke. She laughs soft. He thinks, "I did this for you. Watch you thrive. Me stay silent." On the ride home his side spasms. She reaches out to rub his hand. He winces. She says, "You need to rest more," but he pushes her hand away gently. "I'm fine." That night he kneels in front of her in the living room. The city lights flicker through the window behind him. He pulls out a ring, simple, silver. "Emma, will you marry me?" His voice cracks just slightly. She gasps, her hand to her mouth. "Yes," she says after a beat. But her eyes flick to the door, thinking of someone else. Her smile is warm, but her body holds back a second too long. Marcus catches the pause in that second, a tiny storm behind the calm. He hangs the ring on her finger, stands, lifts her into his arms. She leans into him, and for a moment he tells himself that this is perfect. Then he glances at the window where the city lights don't hold answers, and wonders if his recovery has only revealed what he feared most. The morning light breaks through the curtains, golden and kind, as if the world itself wants this day to be perfect. Marcus sits on the edge of his bed, heart thudding like a drum beneath his ribs. His tuxedo hangs on the closet door, black, crisp, and patient. He exhales, trying to steady his hands. Today's the day, he tells himself. Today everything becomes worth it. Downstairs, his father helps with the cufflinks. The old man's hands are rough, steady. "You did good, son," he says, fastening the final link. "You gave her a new life. I just hope she knows what that means." Marcus smiles faintly, but his father's next words tighten his chest. "Derek's been off lately. Said he was struggling with something. You two talk recently?" Marcus shakes his head. "He's been busy helping Emma. I'm sure he's fine." He laughs it off, but the unease lingers, like a whisper he can't quite catch. At the chapel, everything glows. The flowers are white lilies, Emma's favorite. Guests murmur softly, cameras flash, a string quartet hums from the corner. Marcus stands at the altar, shoulders straight, palms slick. He looks toward the door, waiting. The air feels thick, expectant. Then she appears. Emma stands framed in sunlight, veil draped like mist, beauty radiant and unreal. For a heartbeat, Marcus forgets to breathe. Every pain, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, worth it. She begins her walk, the crowd rising to their feet. He watches each step, his smile trembling between joy and disbelief. Halfway down the aisle, she hesitates. Just for a second. Her eyes flicker, not at him but to the left. Marcus thinks it's nerves. He opens his arms slightly, ready to take her hand. But she keeps walking. The music stumbles. Murmurs ripple through the room. Marcus's smile falters as Emma glides past him, past the altar, past the priest, and stops beside Derek in the front row. "Emma?" Marcus whispers. Her voice trembles but carries. "I'm sorry." The room stills. Derek stands, pale, eyes down. "I can't do this," Emma continues. "I can't marry you out of guilt. Derek, help me when you were recovering. We didn't mean for it to happen, but we fell in love." Gasps explode through the church. Cameras flash like lightning. Marcus's mother bursts into tears. His father grips the pew, face ashen. Someone whispers, "Oh my God." Marcus stands frozen. Every sound dulls to a distant echo. The room spins, Emma's voice, Derek's silence, the ring burning in his pocket. His knees threaten to buckle, but he doesn't move. Emma's eyes glisten. You gave me life, Marcus. I'll never forget that. But I can't spend that life pretending. Then she turns. Derek reaches for her hand, hesitant, guilty. Together they walk down the aisle, the same path she was supposed to take toward Marcus. The doors close behind them with a hollow thud. Marcus remains at the altar, motionless. The crowd stares, whispers swelling. He presses a trembling hand against his side, the place where his kidney used to be, and feels the emptiness rise. The gift that once saved her now leaves him hollow. The days after the wedding blur into something shapeless. Empty bottles, unmade sheets, silence that hums louder than sound. Marcus barely eats. The apartment smells of stale coffee and rain. His phone lights up with messages, sympathy, confusion, pity, but he doesn't answer any of them. Every vibration feels like another cut. He scrolls through the wedding photos online until his hands shake. The headlines sting, "Runaway bride chooses brother of groom." The image of Emma in white, clutching Derek's hand, loops in his mind like punishment. He imagines her heart beating strong, because of his kidney. The irony carves him open. He stops visiting his parents, ignores Derek's calls, and deletes Emma's number. But he can't delete the memory of her laughter, the way she used to rest her head on his chest, right above the organ he gave her. The thought makes him sick. One gray afternoon there's a knock. His father stands at the door, holding a bag of groceries and an expression somewhere between anger and sorrow. "You look terrible," he says, stepping inside. "I'm fine." "You're not," his father snaps. He sets the groceries down, then adds quietly, "You need to hear this." Marcus looks up. "Derek came to me weeks before the wedding," his father says. "He told me everything. He begged her to stop it, Marcus. Said it wasn't right. But she couldn't. She said she owed you too much to walk away." The words land heavy, crueler than the betrayal itself. Marcus laughs hollow. "So her yes was just guilt?" His father nods slowly. "She was trying to repay a debt no one asked for." Marcus's throat tightens. There's no anger left, only exhaustion. That night he Googles legal options. Organ donor rights. Medical compensation. Emotional distress. He calls a lawyer the next morning, voice flat, rehearsed. The lawyer listens, sighs, and says, "There's no legal claim here. A donation is a gift. You can't take it back." Marcus hangs up before the man finishes. Later he drives to Derek's apartment. His brother answers the door, eyes red, face drawn. For a long moment they just stare at each other, two men gutted by the same woman in different ways. "You stole her," Marcus says finally. Derek's voice breaks. "I tried to stay away. I swear to God I did. But she needed someone. And he falters, shaking his head. "I never wanted this, Marcus. I wish it was me who got cut open, not you." Marcus steps closer, fury and grief colliding. "You already did," he whispers. "You cut me open too." Then he turns and leaves before Derek can answer. That night, back home, Marcus stands shirtless before the mirror. His reflection looks older, thinner, hollowed out. He runs a finger along the faded scar on his side, the line where he gave something he can never reclaim. He presses his palm there, eyes burning. And for the first time he wonders which hurts more, the wound that healed or the one still bleeding inside. 6 months later the world feels quieter. The ache in Marcus's side is dull now, a faint reminder instead of a wound. He's back at the hospital, not as a patient but as a volunteer. He spends his mornings talking to transplant candidates, easing their fears with a calm he never had himself. Sometimes he catches his reflection in the polished tiles and barely recognizes the man looking back. Leaner, steadier, older. Therapy has sanded his rage into something softer. Dr. Levin says healing isn't forgetting. It's learning to live with what remains. Marcus doesn't talk about Emma much anymore, though her shadow lingers in certain songs, in the sterile scent of antiseptic, in dreams that dissolve before dawn. That morning he's leaving the volunteer office when he sees her. Emma. She's standing at the reception desk, a file in hand, her hair shorter now. She turns and their eyes meet. Time folds in on itself. For a moment he forgets to breathe. "Marcus," she says softly. "Emma?" He nods. His voice is steady but his pulse betrays him. They step aside into a quiet hallway washed in sunlight. Neither speaks at first. The air between them hums with all the words they never said. Finally she breaks the silence. "I come here every 6 months for checkups. I didn't expect," she trails off. He smiles faintly. "Yeah. Me neither." Her eyes fill with something heavy, regret, maybe. "You look good," she says. "I'm trying." They stand like that, two survivors of the same story, each carrying different scars. She exhales, trembling. "I think about you every day," she admits. "About what you gave me. I'll never stop feeling guilty." Marcus studies her face, the life in her eyes, the color in her cheeks. "You shouldn't feel guilty for living," he says quietly. "I should," she whispers. "You lost so much." He shakes his head. "No. I gave it freely. That's what I've learned." He hesitates, searching for the truth he's finally ready to speak. "I was angry, I was furious. I felt violated, betrayed, like part of me was trapped inside you. But I don't regret saving you. Even now." Her eyes glisten. "You always loved too much." He smiles faintly. That used to sound like a weakness. They share a fragile silence, the kind that feels almost like peace. She touches her stomach, over the place where his kidney rests. "Thank you," she says. He nods once, then turns away. "Take care of it." Later that week, at the transplant support group, Marcus finds himself sitting beside a woman with kind eyes and a quiet laugh. Her name is Lily. She asks about his scar, and instead of flinching, he tells her the story, stripped of bitterness, full of truth. She listens without pity. "That's not just a scar," she says softly. "That's proof of love." Marcus smiles, small, real, new. For the first time he believes her. He's learning now that some gifts aren't meant to be returned. Some are simply meant to set you free.